Dexter. I'm Uncle Jerrold. Now there's a surprise on the back, but wait for it, okay?
All right.
Keep this side up for now. If you think there's big change coming, if you think this civilization is capable of the change we all desire, then you also agree that our language has to change. Historically, when any civilization or culture shifts, language takes it in the right direction. The last great global vowel shift of 1,000 years ago precipitated the Enlightenment, brought mankind out of the Dark Ages. So here in Detroit, we've introduced this international phonetic symbol to the English language. We've just kind of slid in. This is an internationally taught, recognized, and accepted symbol that always makes the same sound. It looks like an upside down E, but it's a symbol all its own that everyone calls a schwa. You've seen it your whole lives. Because if you look in a dictionary, on any page of a dictionary, they respell words in this gobbledygook code, correct?
Right.
Now the code is there if you need it to help you pronounce the words, right? It helps you sound them out. The reason it helps you is because all those symbols always make the same sounds. And here's the key at the beginning of the dictionary, and here's our schwa. It tells us it makes like the A in go. So this international phonetic symbol makes that sound. Our sheet tells us that it's also the final vowel in English, so fa. This symbol always makes that sound. It's also the E in the and item. It's the I in edible. It's the U in hum and but and circus. It's the I, O, the O, the A, and the U in juxtaposition. It is the most common vowel sound in English. English uses every other vowel letter or combination of letters to make it happen. It's one of the things about English that confuse the hell out of people all over the world. But don't worry, Clarence. Don't worry, Dexter. That does not mean, because we've introduced it, that we'll be respelling any of those words. No, we are not respelling any English words. English as we know it, familiar, comfortable with it, is going to stay English. However, as we attempt as a people to propel our minds forward, to change our world, we need new words to define what our minds are now thinking, what we're working for. When we create something good on the positive end of this mess, we need a new word to describe it. You can't have anything new in the world without a new word.
Right.
So we say, when you spell, as we spell these new words that are going to propel our culture, our civilization forward all over the world, when we spell these new words, if we need the schwa sound in these new words, we're going to use the schwa symbol. If you're given a job to do today, aren't you taught to use the best tool available today? This is what we learn in play school. You're given a job to do, you use the best tool for it. If we have to spell a word with the schwa sound, we will spell it now with the schwa symbol. And we will cease to continue to confuse the rest of the world with any letter or combination of letters we could plug in there.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
We see in school that they've taken out a lot of the, I know it ties in with what's happening in schools today, of how they've taken out art, how they've taken out music.
They don't want us to think.
Right.
They're destroying our culture. They want us only to have enough time to sleep at home, go to work, eat out,
go to the corporate plantation,
corporate restaurants, and to go home with no money left. That looks like the logical conclusion of the lifestyle they have for us. Anyway, Uncle Jerrold doesn't debate politics.
Okay.
All about language. So I've given you the idea: new words, new concepts, new ideas. When we define them and create the words to take our minds forward, schwa sound, schwa symbol. Now you can turn it over and get your surprise. We'll have fun together. Think about it. Fun together. Think about it. We never had any fun together before because we never had a word for it. And that's how that works. And Dexter and Clarence, if you like, here's an expanded pamphlet that shows you all that this is not my idea. This is an idea that goes back to language as a science.
It's very key.
This simple tool, interposed in language, will achieve for us all the known goals of language. And you've learned all you need to know about it. It always makes the same sound. Never changes the sound of the morphemes, words, or anything else you can put before or after it. It stands on its own. It's not a regular letter or replacement. It's a tool with which we can use all to evolve our language. And the psycholinguists tell us that if you evolve the language of a species, you evolve the species.
That's true. It's very true. Now, is that the way that they keep us in bondage through the language, right? Through the language.
If you read George Orwell, 1984, Newspeak, doublespeak.
Right.
Yes. It's all about language. All about how language is used to enslave us. They lie to us. We're not at war in Iraq and Afghanistan. We're nation building. Get behind it. We're nation building. Jerrold doesn't debate politics or nation building. You see, our language, it's the most important tool of civilization. And the best thing about it, language is and shall remain an individual decision. The schwa is already in my alphabet. It doesn't cost us any money. It doesn't take an act of Congress. You don't even need to sign a petition. When you decide individually that the tool is good and the words it creates is good, it's done.
Now, what reference material would you point to people to as far as to learn more about language and linguistics?
Well, here's a couple of good books here. I've got this book, Language, Thought, and Reality. I've got this book. Now, Benjamin Whorf was one of the godfathers of language. We have Meaning and Language here. We've got a great book called Words and Things.
Wow.
By Roger Brown. Now, Dr. Seuss was always effective in his use of language. The dictionary is always a good start.
Okay.
Yes, please. You should try to have a good dictionary and read it.
Oxford. Concise.
Another good book is one of the first books written on language as a science called The Meaning of Meaning by Richard Ogden and Charles Nash. I forget his first name. Ogden and Nash wrote The Meaning of Meaning. Very seminal work on language as a science.
Wow. Okay.
And there's many more.
All right, thank you, Uncle Jerrold.
Thank you, Dexter. Good day. So we got fun together. We can think about it. We can tell the banks, Wall Street, politicians that we've had enough of this. Enough of that. And when we get it done, we'll have enough money. One among us. How are we going to win it? Among us. Nobody's going to give it to us. The schwa is an important lesson in itself.
Yeah, you know, that's the other thing too that I noticed too is like how when you get tied up in the court system of how they have their own language using the Black's Law Dictionary.
To confuse you. You know? That's why they do it. That's why you can't read legal documents or tax documents. They don't want you to know what's going on.
Interesting. Thank you once again.
Yes, sir.